photograph what
you have seen so far?
Well, first of all, I am not part of the Palestinian Authority. As a matter of fact, I represent a democratic Palestinian movement called Palestinian National Initiative, which is non-Fatah and non-Hamas. And of course, I am not affiliated with Hamas. But I think this situation that has evolved is a direct result of the continuation of the longest occupation in modern history. Israeli occupation of Palestinian land since 1967. This is 56 years of occupation that has transformed into a system of apartheid, a much worse apartheid than what prevailed in South Africa. Yes, maybe
True.
Hamas did not recognize Israel, but the PLO did, and the Palestinian Authority did. What did they get? Nothing. Since 2014, the Israeli governments would not even meet with Palestinians. And what you see today is a reaction to several things. First of all, settlers' terrorist attacks on Palestinians in the West Bank that has evicted already 20 communities in an act of ethnic cleansing, 248 Palestinians who were killed by the Israeli army and settlers in the West Bank, including 40 children, attacks on the holy sites, the Muslim and Christian holy sites by Israeli extremists, as well as declaration of Netanyahu that he will liquidate the Palestinian rights and the Palestinian cause by normalization with Arab countries. And he dared even to go to the United Nations and carried in the United Nations a map of Israel, which included the whole of the West Bank, all of Gaza, all of Jerusalem, as well as the Golan Heights.
The Ottomans were an imperial force too. That's not a good argument, brother. Ask anyone from historical Palestine whether they prefer Ottoman rule over British rule. And I think the answer is going to be very different than what you suspect.
He declared the annexation of the occupied territories. So, of course, Palestinians turn to resistance because they see that this is the only way for them to get their rights. The question here is not about dehumanizing Palestinians as is happening and calling them terrorists. It's about asking the question, why the United States supports Ukraine in fighting what they call occupation, while here they are supporting the occupier who continues to occupy us.
But let me ask you, if that is the analogy you wish to draw, what Hamas is doing is they're targeting Israeli civilians, women, children, grandmothers.
No, they are not.
Is that not a classic terror? Isn't that classic terrorism? They're not fighting the Israeli government. They're fighting ordinary people.
That's one way of putting it, but it's not true. I think Hamas mainly attacked military establishments, military installations. And most of the people they have arrested.
It's true. But it doesn't matter because there are still, don't say no, don't fucking go against this. This is 100% true. But it doesn't matter because they're not a fucking real military. They're disorganized. And of course there were people who did some fucked up ass shit and civilians died as a consequence of that too. But the overwhelming goal there wasn't simply to kill as many people as possible. The overwhelming goal there was to overwhelm the military. That's why they went and they fucking took over. That's why they went and they took over police precincts. They attacked the music festival as well, which is like, dude, guys, I'm not saying they didn't kill fucking like actual civilians. They did. Of course they did. Hasan, you're a fucking clown. They went into cities and killed innocents. Oh my God, you're missing what I'm trying to say. Of course they did that. And that is completely fucked up. The goal, however, once again, like, what do you think 3/4 is? What do you think 3/4 is? Numerically, what do you think 3/4 means? 3/4 of the people, the targets that they fucking killed were still, like, they're military. Fuck! That's according to the Israeli numbers. That means 25% of their targets were civilians, okay? I'm not fucking sitting here and being like, "Oh, that's totally justifiable. That happens." I am much more interested in how that happens, why that has happened, how do we stop it? They are breaking out of prison. A prison that they're inside of, not because they fucking believe bad things or whatever the fuck you dumbass liberals think. They're in prison because they happen to be born inside of that prison. An open air prison. Okay? Hasan really loving terrorism? Oh, God. The amount of... people love to talk about decolonialization until they see it in real life, but then you turn around and you say Hasan really loving terrorism. It's fucking nuts, dude. There are so many people that just don't want to hear anything I've said. I've covered this for 4 fucking hours, and people literally turn around and clip one opportunity and go, dog, there you do it. There you go. I got him. Now I can fucking run with my idiotic fucking propaganda. Okay. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what you say. None of what we are saying matters, okay? It doesn't. Doesn't matter.
And taken as war prisoners are military people. I do not accept attacking any civilian. I do not accept that Israelis attack our civilians. But look at what Israeli planes are doing now in Gaza. They are bombarding houses. They're bringing down to earth, and you've shown that on your screen. Whole apartments, whole buildings, high-rise buildings are brought down to the ground, and we already are receiving reports about families who are killed. 9 people in one family, 10 people in another family, including children. I do not want any civilian to be hurt, neither by Palestinians or by Israelis. But the question is how to end that. Will it end by attacking Gaza Strip another time? Israel has already conducted 5 wars on Gaza. One of them lasted 51 days. They destroyed everything. This did not stop Hamas, did not stop resistance. There is one way to stop.
Dude, this is so stupid. True, but the Palestinian civilians were informed and evacuated. Totally, man. That's so sick. Yeah, if you say, hey, I'm going to bomb your fucking house, literally 15 minutes before I bomb your fucking house, then it's fine. Also, evacuated to where? You can't leave the country. You can't leave the area. It's an open-air prison. How does that work? That what you want to talk about? That's your most moral army?
Stop any violence. And that is to end the Israeli occupation. And that is for the United States to be fair. They cannot say that Israel has the right to defend itself, but we, the Palestinians, don't have the right to defend ourselves. Let me remind you the case of Shireen Abu Akleh, who was not only Palestinian, but also an American, a very peaceful journalist. Yeah. She was shot to death by an Israeli sniper. Was anybody indicted? Was anybody taken to court? No. 52.
They lied. They lied and tried to fucking claim that it was actually Palestinians that fucking killed her. They lied. She had body armor on, chat. She had fucking body armor and a helmet on. They sniped her in the fucking neck. It said press across her chest. They knew what they were fucking doing. Not a single ounce of fucking... Not a single fraction of punishment. Immediately they lied and said Palestinians did this. Monsters, dude. And then they didn't stop there. When this beloved journalist had a funeral, the IDF dogs, the Israeli occupying force dogs went into the funeral and beat the shit out of people that were trying to carry her fucking casket. There is no equivalence. That's why Michael Brooks is absolutely correct when he says, role reversal, everybody knows what's going on. Role reversal, Nazi Germany. You know? Jews live in an area, all of a sudden, the British government decides, hey, guess what, Jews? We're going to fucking kick you out of your home, and we're going to put Muslims here. Muslims that we brought in from other countries. And then those guys built like one of the most powerful fucking military apparatuses that's like purposely partitioning areas where Jews live, turning them into fucking Jewish ghettos, putting them on a diet, as Michael Brooks has also correctly pointed out. Putting them on a diet is official Israeli policy in Gaza. We control their food. We put them on a diet. Imagine if a Muslim government is saying that about Jewish people. Okay? You know exactly what that is. You're like, oh, that's Holocaust. That's like literally what's going on. That's fucking bullshit. Okay? This happened. If the Israeli government is, or let's say the Muslim government, the Muslim Israel, is now, they have created an open-air prison in Gaza where all the Jews live, okay? You put them on a diet. They're all unemployed. The average age is 18 years old for the Jews living in Gaza. 18 years old. 2 million of those Jews live in Gaza. Okay? And then you bomb them all the time, and you call it mowing the lawn. Okay? You call the hunger and starvation that you enact upon them, keeping them on a diet so they're servile and can't push back, and you bomb them and you call it mowing the lawn. Those are your two policies. Immediately, everybody knows what's going on there. Immediately. No reason. No reason to look any further. Okay?
2 other journalists were also killed. Our first aid providers are shot at. Our doctors are shot at. This should stop. And the only way to stop it is to tell Israel, you have to respect international law, you have to end this illegal occupation, and accept Palestinians as equal human beings.
Let me ask you about the practical reality of what's going to happen here, which you know because you've lived through this, which is this is going to strengthen right-wing forces in Israel. It is going to strengthen the forces that say, have no mercy, have a, you know.
This is what the Israeli government was, this is what liberals were saying about the Israeli government this year? Yeah. Yeah, Israel's new right-wing government is even more extreme than protests would have you think. Yeah. They're letting that shit happen, too.
A huge military response. Presumably the life of Palestinians in the West Bank will get harder, more checkpoints.
Imagine telling a Palestinian in the West Bank, bro, life is going to get harder. Like, bro, do you know what life is like? Have you read a book? Have you, like, watched anything that isn't, like, pure Zionist copium propaganda? Hello? Oh, man, life is going to get harder? Shit, dude. I didn't realize life wasn't hard enough when I was going through 11 fucking military checkpoints, hoping that a settler doesn't look in my direction and choose to bully me, and if I ever fight back, I'm going to prison. Oh, fuck, dude. Can't believe that. Life is going to get harder? No way. How hard is it going to get? These people are begging to be killed, okay? They're literally like, you fuck my life up so hard, just kill me. Fuck it. And guess what? When they do get killed, their killers don't go to prison.
More searches. Isn't the practical effect here of all this going to be much worse for the average Palestinian?
Yeah, this is the classic, like, see, Hamas actually fucked up. It's just Hamas. It's not like a coalition of other forces. Come on, just say it's bad. And also, just remember that, like, you know, things are going to get much worse. It's like, I addressed this as well. Like, Israel is not a fucking natural phenomena, okay? Israel is not a tornado. It's not a tsunami. It is a government, an apartheid government, that is comprised of individuals who can think for themselves, okay? The idea that, like, well, you just motivated Israel to be more violent when, like, you are routinely avoiding the actual violence of the maintenance of this apartheid state is fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They're not RoboCop, man. They're fucking humans. So why don't you ask a better question? Why don't you ask, like, why is Israel so violent? Why do they not actually scale it back a little bit? It's so stupid.
Unfortunately, Farid, what you have described is exactly what we already have. Today, the whole West Bank is paralyzed by 560 military Israeli checkpoints. And these checkpoints were there during the last 30 years. We are suffering from a wall that is built on our land. The whole West Bank has been divided in 224 small ghettos, separated from each other. And the settlers are everywhere attacking Palestinians. You speak about right-wing government in Israel. Already Israel is a right-wing government. Israel is already having fascists in its government. Smotrich described himself.
Like, Israel's fascists are so fucking aggro that, like, Israelis are railing against it. Like, think about that. What do you think is going to happen?
As a fascist homophobe. And that man, Smotrich, who is also a settler, said that Palestinians have one of three options only, either to immigrate or accept a life of subjugation to Israelis or die. This is the Israeli Minister of Finance. Netanyahu never negated these statements. And both Smotrich and Ben-Gvir said...
Like, look at this guy. You know what shouldn't happen? Killing 260 people at a music festival. No, you're right, man. That just happened on its own because, like, bad guys wanted to do bad things. You're right. Dude, if they fucking subjugated you to a open-air prison your whole fucking life, you're going to break out eventually when you realize that there's no other way to get out of it. Like, do you think that this happened out of nowhere? Do you think this happened out of thin air? Are you fucking stupid? Do you think the Israeli state was just, like, peacefully coexisting and then these guys came in with fucking gliders out of nowhere? Don't say fuck off, dude. They didn't deserve it, you fucking idiot. My goal is solutions. Your goal is the continuation of violence. You want way more than 260 people dying. You want every single Palestinian to be fucking executed ruthlessly in the streets so that you can build another fucking theme park in Gaza. You fucking baying pig. You fucking bloodthirsty, violent pig dog. Suck my dick. How do you think this happens? You think it happens out of nowhere? You think these people are just like, oh, we were violent because we want to be violent? You think that's where violence culminates from? Or do you think it's because you have entrapped them, you have bullied them, you have subjugated them, you have humiliated these fucking people? 2 million people live inside of Gaza. They're not even fucking people in the eyes of Israelis. 2 million. The average age is 18 years old. 57% unemployment. They can't even get fucking concrete inside of Gaza so they can build fucking water salination plants because 97% of their water is toxic. They're dying of mass starvation. You cannot push people into a fucking corner their whole lives and not expect them to fight back at a certain point. Suck my dick. You fucking piece of shit. You and others like you who turn a blind eye to apartheid, genocide, and ethnic cleansing are the reasons as to why these people fucking fight back. So much so that you fucking cackling hyenas sit around and think, oh yeah, we're doing this in the West Bank too. That's the peaceful coexistence project. Look at the West Bank. You're doing it in the West Bank so fucking hard now that you left your ass out in the open in the southern fucking border of Israel. inevitably the contradictions become more apparent and the state will collapse. There is no way to have a fascist coalition because endless militant conquest always ends up failing. So if you care about your fellow Israelis, if you care about Jewish people living in Israel, if you care about humanity, even if you do not have a moral position against apartheid, which you should because you're a human, right? You're a human, and it's disgusting to not have a moral anger and moral outrage, not demonstrate moral outrage at the sheer thought of a fucking apartheid state. Think about it from a more pessimistic, more cynical, but self-interested perspective then. Fucking dog. Huh. At the end of the day, as Hakim also correctly pointed out, if you are not from there, you can get on a fucking plane and go back to Europe or go back to America, okay? But you know who remains? The motherfuckers that are from there. You cannot defeat with endless subjugation an insurgent movement that demands emancipation. You have to literally ethnically cleanse them, which is what Israel is doing slowly. But ultimately, people are going to fight back no matter what happens.
Said that their plan is to annex the West Bank. Can we stop what's going on now? Yes, of course. All these Israelis who are now in Gaza can be released tomorrow, including everybody. If there are civilians, also the civilians, even the generals of the Israeli army can be released if Israel also accepts to release our 5,300 Palestinian prisoners who are in Israeli jails, including 1,260 Palestinians who are in jail without knowing why, under the so-called administrative detention. They don't know why they are arrested. They are not charged. Their lawyers don't know why they are arrested. And that's the life we have. Look, Farid, we have lived all our lives under occupation. My father lived under occupation. My daughter is living under occupation. We want a time when we, the Palestinians, will be free. Hamas was not there 30 years ago or 40 years ago. But before that, PLO was described as terrorist. Any Palestinian who struggles for his right or for freedom is described as terrorist. And the question here...
Yeah, America is disgusting in its propaganda where they say, oh, this unprovoked attack. It's like, bro, that implies the existence of a provoked attack. Has there ever been in the history of the United States where Palestinians have engaged in a justifiable and provoked attack? Has that ever happened in your eyes? Think about that. When has Western media said, you know what, the Palestinian cause is just? This was a provoked attack. When? Never. It doesn't matter what their fucking background is. It doesn't matter what their ideological position is. It doesn't matter when they are actually peacefully walking up to that very same border. Because they did that too. Gazans, by the thousands, bravely marched towards that fucking border, and Israeli snipers killed them and maimed them by the hundreds of thousands, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Well, not hundreds of thousands, but ridiculous. They would kneecap them deliberately. 200 plus died. Tens of thousands got maimed. And we're not talking about like fucking Hamas in that situation. We're talking about women, children, like people that were dressed as medics, like openly stating that they're medics. Press, civilians across the board, pregnant women. Fucking nuts. It's nuts. 42 knees in one day. Israeli snipers open up about shooting Gaza protesters. And then they fucking cry afterwards, too. That's the other side of it. Because then they also have the secondary aspect of it where they're like, oh, I have such PTSD from fucking shooting 42 knees in one day. They do a YouTube apology. The cry and shoot is what it's called. Americans do it as well.